Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, everybody. I'm Michael.
I'm Count John, or John.
and I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast, where we look back at a toy line that we've picked just to kind of talk about it. Toy line from our history, from our past, and I guess your past too, if you're listening to this. And we give you a history lesson on that toy line and figure out how that toy line ended up possibly in your home. This week, one that I know it didn't make it into our home, but hopefully made it in yours. We can teach a little bit. We're going to rewind all the way back to 1981. And this week we're talking about the movie monsters, or the mini monsters, the universal monsters that were released by REMCO. Yep. So there's just a couple different lines here, a couple different types and sizes that we're going to kind of talk about all of them. But really they're the monsters. So it's a classic Universal monsters. So I'm looking forward to it. All the research and stuff that I did on this is a pretty interesting little line. So they did a lot. Yeah. Well, before we get into that, John, can you give everybody a little taste where they can follow us and find us?
I will. So where to find us? Check us out on our website at toyrewindpodcast.com. You can also check us out on crossthestreammedia.com with our partners over there. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. We do stream our Toy Box Showcase to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Check out our podcast bingo with podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. And then, as always, watch for us as we do some of our lives with our collector showcase and our toy box showcase. Our collector showcase is done on Twitch with our partners over at the Geeks Care, their channel.
Yeah, and we have one that we're kind of working on, trying to get it scheduled out. So look forward to that. Hopefully here pretty soon. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry. Finally. Sorry. We have like some dead air there because I'm sneezing, Michael's coughing, everything in the world. John's thank you. Everything in the world's happening all at the same time. So, all right. Well, we have a little bit to talk about here. It's like I mentioned earlier, a fun toy line. So we're gonna just jump into it. Just rewind right back and get into it. So, you guys ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it now. A little early than what we usually do.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 1980. So REMCO released. They got the license for the Universal monsters. I'm not sure why it took so long for a toy company to get a hold of that licensing, but REMCO finally did. So they released 4 different monster figures. The 1980 line was the 9-inch line. It's kind of Amigo size. They released Frankenstein, Mummy, the Wolfman, and Count Dracula. Like I said, these were 9-inch figures, and they all had an action feature. They had a little lever on the back. When you press that lever, it kind of the creature would kind of give whoever it's trying to attack a bear hug, is what it looked like. So, it kind of bear hugged who he was attacking. So all of them had the same bodies. They all had claw-like hands, and the hands glowed in the dark, as well as the heads. The heads glowed in the dark. This was a major selling point feature for this line, was the glow in the dark, and we'll see it more as we go through the rest of the line. Frankenstein and Mummy both look like Boris Karloff, the character in the movies, and then the Wolfman looked like Lon Chaney, who played him in the movies as well. But the Dracula feature was just a generic look due to ongoing litigation between Universal Studios and the Legacy estate. But when REMCO released the 1981 Mini Monsters, which we'll get to here in a minute, there was a breakthrough in which Universal won the use of the Bela Lugosi Dracula look, and so the mini monster actually looks like Bela Lugosi. So it's the first time that feature or that figure it has the look of the actor of that line. So in 1981 they released 2 new editions. So Phantom of the Opera came in, and then Creature of the Black Lagoon. All these figures were sculpted by a world-renowned toy sculptor, Ken Schaeffer, Scheller. Yeah, Scheller. He wasn't too happy about. I couldn't read my writing, so he wasn't too happy about the glow in the dark feature on these figures because it took away from his sculpting of the details that he put into these figures. If you look at the actual head sculpts from the toy company, you can see all the details and stuff. And when they put it in that glow in the dark plastic feature, it took away some of those details. The only
head sculpts, and they are some detailed.
Yeah, they're really detailed.
Really nice.
Yeah. And you can actually see the actors that portrayed these characters on screen in these head sculpts. So, but the only accessory that came with this line was the mask for the Phantom, and they all came with iron-on patch and then a glow-in-the-dark skull ring that came with these figures. They were also distributed in the UK by Ideal Toys. The packaging art was painted by a guy named Chronister. And then his originals that were sold off just last year, they sold them off in 2020 for a good chunk of change. I didn't see that total, but from what I understand, it was a big sale because they're actually pictures, drawings or paintings of the actual actors that portrayed these. You got you got Lon Chaney, and you've got Boris Karloff, all those big names were doing that. The only one that like I said, wasn't the right one was the Dracula. It was actually an image of Count Yorga by Robert Quarry, a movie. I don't remember when it came out. I didn't see when it came out, but it was an older vampire movie. So they used that image for the box imaging.
Yeah.
There was one play set called the Monsterizer. Let's see. It was intended to charge up the glow features of the monsters. It had a flashing lights and creaking gears. And when you cranked out, there's a little table, and you turn this little gear. The table would come out, and then you had a little cage you would raise up. You put your monster on that platform on that table or slab, and then crank it back in, and it made creaking noises as you did it. And then you would shut the cage, and the little light would flash, and it would charge up the glowing feature on these guys. So that was the only playset feature that was for these guys, this 9-inch line. So from there, they did so well in this, they decided to go in 1981 to a smaller, the 3 3/4 inch line, like everybody else was in that time frame. You got Star Wars and all those that were that 3 3/4 inch. So so these were called mini monsters, and are and is what the main focus of what we're focused on today. I went through the 9-inch line just a little preview, but this is kind of what we're focusing on. So the 6 figures that were produced in this line, this mini monsters line, you had Count Dracula, you had Frankenstein, you had Mummy, you had the Wolfman, you had Phantom of the Opera, and then you had Creature from the Black Lagoon. these figures had the same 5-point articulation like Star Wars, and Dracula and Phantom had vinyl capes, very similar to the ones Star Wars used on Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. There wasn't any accessories or anything with these guys, so you just use your imagination. I mean, if you're a creature, Wolfman, you got your own imagination on what to do with those. So you don't need like guns or anything with these guys. So the card art actually used the original actors' faces. Like I said, now with the litigation over with, that Universal one, they could use Bela Lugosi. They also had Boris Karloff and Lon Chaney art on their cards, and their figures actually look like these actors as well. There was a second and third release for this set. I mean, it went on through 1983, I believe, and the second release was upgraded to glow in the dark hands and faces, whereas the first release of these didn't have that glow in the dark feature. The second release they did, and then in the third release, when they released it again, which is the same figures over and over, but the third release they just put a glow in the dark label on the card is what they did. So it's basically the same thing for the second two releases. There was two different play sets for this. The first set was produced for the line. It was the mini monster play case. It was a cardboard kind of play set wrapped in plastic, so the cardboard wouldn't get messed up, I guess. And then
they still got messed up.
Well,
it was kind of.
I remember different ones.
It wasn't really vacuum formed to the cardboard, but it was over the cardboard.
It was just over it. So they did that so that when you played with your creature from the Black Lagoon in your mud puddles, and then you put it in the cardboard box, it didn't get it all wet.
Yeah, you just kind of wiped it off. Yeah,
you just kind of wipe it off.
So, and then when you folded it up, it resembled like a skinny house shape is what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So because it was just the front, you stood it there, and the front of the play set would fold out. When it unfolded, it revealed a vacuum formed black plastic piece that resembled the inside of a house. There was a sarcophagus for the mummy that would open up, and you put your mummy inside it and then close it. There was also a flip around slab that held Frankenstein on with a rubber band. You can flip it over, and he would go inside the little slot, and then there was a cage that held the creature from the Black Lagoon. It would open up, and you can pop them in and out. So this is kind of where you would put your figures to carry them in when you're carrying them around. This design would later be used as a play case for the Sergeant Rock line that they came out. REMCO came out later on. So there was a second play set. It was the mini monster Monsterizer. It was very similar to the very first one, the bigger version, but this was a smaller version of it. It was, like I said, intended to charge up the glow features of the monsters. It had flashing lights and creaking gears as you would crank the table and raise the cage. You would put the monster on the table and then crank it back in, and the flashing lights would charge up the glow in the dark features. And then when it was ready, it was ready to stalk the countryside and glow in the dark. So, due to this piece here coming out later in the line, I guess it took too long to miniaturize the big version of it. So it came out late in the line. So it's very hard to find this piece, and it's probably the most valuable piece in the line.
So what you're saying is they had to miniaturize the Monsterizer.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that's that's pretty much what you got to do.
Yeah.
Especially with something like that, as cool as that, because that Monsterizer, even though it's a fun play set, but it's also got a lot of like functionality to it because it's trying to charge up that glow in the dark. I mean, which is just I remember we do that. You just get a flashlight,
Yeah.
hold the flashlight up to it, hold it up, put it in a lamp, something like that.
Yeah, set it inside your lampshade for a little while and let
Yeah.
it charge up.
So set it up there.
But this is I like this mini monster or the monsterizer because it gives you that feel, especially working with Frankenstein, because it feels like you're making Frankenstein's monster there. You know. So, by the way, why did they put Frankenstein on there, not Frankenstein's monster?
I don't know. Yeah, that's
I gotta be complicated here.
Because
Think
Frankenstein
about it.
is the doctor who designed,
creates the monster.
created the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
the monster
but I
that we're
mean-
looking at.
Everybody knows it as Frankenstein, though, because that's the way it's always been told.
Yeah.
You say Frankenstein and you don't think of the doctor, you think of the monster.
You should think of the doctor, though.
That's why they just said Frankenstein.
You should think of the doctor. So I'll be clear about that.
The original Frankenstein's monster is probably the only one that doesn't call him Frankenstein.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Did you see how much these were back in the day, Michael? Because I was trying to find that, and
I didn't see any prices.
I saw some price tags, but
I saw some price tags, but I don't know.
I couldn't read them, so as I was looking at pictures and stuff, because I do have some prices for these guys now. This is a very, very collectible set.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know that they've redone some. Like John has one right there behind him. With that,
Yeah, so this is the reaction figure.
Yeah, the reaction figure. So this is a very collectible. The mini monsterizer. I found a couple that sold on eBay recently, and one of them was $350 and the other one was $250. So somebody got a good deal.
The mini monsterizer.
Yeah, that's the mini monsterizer, the 3 3/4 inch set. So every single one of the monsters I saw pretty much all sold for around $100. But I did see most of the sets were selling for about $400. So you could get a set of all 6 of them for about $400, or each individually for $100 a piece. Interestingly enough, I did find this one, and this is a sold lot on eBay. It's sold September 28th. It's the REMCO Mini Monsters empty blister cards for Wolfman, the Creature, Mummy, Phantom, and Dracula. So 5 of them. Care to guess how much it sold for?
They're just the cards.
Just the cards, empty.
150.
$300.
Oh wow!
Plus $16.70 shipping. I mean, you can't get something like this shipped for free.
No,
$300. And then looking at them,
which cards were those? The first series, or did they have the glow in the dark features on them?
It does have the glow in the dark features, and the cards aren't even in pristine condition.
Wow!
Like looking at them, some of them look a little bent up, and I'm like, the only thing I would hope that somebody didn't buy this expecting to have didn't read it and or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so every bit about this product or this line is collectible. The mini monster cases, anywhere from $50 to $100 themselves, depending on the how well they've kept together.
Yeah, and this is the collectability is this is the first time that these creatures have been made. The movie Universal versions of these have been made.
Yeah.
With the actors that portray these. I mean, these creatures came out, 1920s and 30s, the black and white, way back right after, we went to moving pictures, and it's some of these guys, and and it's the same actors that portrayed them throughout all the way through the 50s, pretty much on these. I know the Wolfman was eventually played by Lon Chaney Jr., but it was, but you got Boris Karloff and Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi and all them. And those are classic actors that that portrayed these guys, and and movie after movie after movie back then. You know, you talk about sequels now. You know, with movies now. I mean, back then there was all kinds of sequels back then that nobody really noticed, I guess. But you guys, especially these guys, they had tons of movies with these creatures. I know. The other day I went to mom and dad's, and just a story real quick, and they were watching. Who was it? It was a comedian group. I can't remember who it was, but they were with Dracula and all them. These guys were in that comedy, so it was pretty. It was on one of the channels that they were watching. It was pretty funny.
I was just looking at one of these. This is a custom. Somebody did a custom, and it's Jack the Ripper, but it's done in the 3 3/4 inch line. It's got a like the blister pack, everything glows in the dark, pretty cool looking. I can't tell which one they customized or what they did here, but he does have a vinyl like overcoat on. Makes it look like he's got this full overcoat, but the back of it's on here. And it does, I don't know if this is anything to say, but it does have the 1980 REMCO, trademark on it. It says, save this tag as proof of purchase for Frankenstein number 869. So I think they just missed a part that they didn't update. But it has a list of 8 monsters on here. So there's Count Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, Mr. Hyde, the Frankenstein monster, the Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Invisible Man. I don't know if these are a bunch that they were doing customs or whatever, but kind of interesting that they.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah,
like if you're getting customs made for other monsters, I mean, just because you want to line up. Now this only sold for $40, so that's still not bad for a custom.
No,
but obviously this line is something that people want.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and they make adult collectibles now on them for these characters.
Yeah.
It was not NECA, but is it NECA that makes these?
I think it is NECA.
Yeah, NECA that makes these guys as well, and they're highly detailed, articulated, everything. So
the 9-inch monsters, I just ran across a couple of the 9-inch monsters in here, Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Mummy from 1980, and they're all let's see, the Mummy's $250. Dracula and Frankenstein are both $350 plus.
That'd be cool to have, though.
Yeah, they definitely would be.
I mean, I got a little Frankenstein over here, but I'd like one of the big ones.
Yeah,
it just blows me away that these they're that. I mean, I knew they were collectible, but I wouldn't think about it being that much. And then you just think about that. That was 40 years ago when these guys came out. On top of the, 40 to 60 years between the movies and everything of when they started doing these. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I'm surprised that somebody didn't do the license for these earlier than what they did. Yeah.
Although I think REMCO did a good job here. They've had a few interesting lines. We've talked a little bit about them, the last a couple episodes ago, but this is very interesting, and they did a great job. And I feel like they spent a lot of time on this and not a lot of time on other lines that they did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they got. I mean, even having a sculptor as famous as this guy that sculpted them,
right?
They brought him in just to do these, and like I said, the bigger line, he was upset because it didn't have, because the glow in the dark took away from the details. But
yeah, I saw those pictures John sent over to us of some details. The sculpts are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Michael, it is NECA. I was just looking up
NECA.
You buy a NECA figure and you've got with 3 heads, 6 hands, 4 different feet. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I've seen them at Target, where I usually see them at.
Yeah. Naked does a good job on their stuff. So I like this. This is pretty cool. I like these, and just for them to survive 60 years between start the movies for when they get this release, and then to know that they're still collectible. Like it's been 100 years since these movies came out, started to come out, and people are still like we've tried to do. People have tried to do new movie series, and they haven't launched out because the fans don't like the direction. And
they did try to reboot these, with the Mummy and stuff like that. But yeah.
238. Look at that.
238.
Sorry, we're doing an audio podcast, and I just screamed out a price that John's showing us.
Well, you were talking, and I was like, hey, I came across it, and I actually found a deal from one of the magazines or the papers or something. So it's kind of cool.
So let's see.
But
$2.38
for the mini monsters.
$7.16 today. That's not bad at all.
No, that's not bad at all. No.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good price. Great price.
That's still cheaper than some of the REMCO one, or not the REMCO, but the reaction ones that you can buy now.
It definitely is. I like these. I think they're awesome. I wouldn't mind having a few, like just to pull out and put with Halloween decorations,
right?
And with that time of year, you have them, you mix them in, and you got a little fun story to talk about with people when they come visit. Whenever people aren't dying of COVID anymore.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go ahead and jump in and rank these guys. Let me share my screen here so John and Michael can see their current rankings on things. So, Michael, where would you put these guys?
I think they're pretty cool. I'm going to put these about where I've been putting everything else here lately. Let's
number 7.
Number 7, yeah.
Michael's stuck on that number 7.
Yeah.
John?
They're cool, but they're not Thundercats cool yet.
They're not Thundercats. It takes a lot to be Thundercats cool.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I like Thundercats. I don't think I really got into playing with them. Of course, I don't remember playing with a lot of the toys. But I think these are really cool. I really like them. I would love to have the rest of even just the reaction figures. But I think I'm going to throw these up there pretty good. I'm going to put them at number 4.
Number 4? You're pushing down the DC Power Collection there, John.
Yeah.
And so
can't help it. I think I'm a little bit more attracted to the monster side than I am the superheroes.
Yeah. So I really like these. I think they're really cool. I would have them, I mentioned just having them in like Halloween collection or whatever. I actually had a Funko Pop of a couple of these, but it's not a fandom that I really collect. I think they're really awesome. And they'd be cool. I'm going to put these at number 10. I think they strongly fit into a top 10, just not quite where I not my, yeah. But I think they're awesome. I think they're pretty cool. I like them.
Like covers the whole spectrum of the top 10, right?
It covers up pretty much the whole spectrum. The only thing we don't have is somebody putting it actually at number 1.
Yeah.
I still look at our top 4 right now. I look at Michael's, and I don't know how confused you were, Michael. We talked about Nintendo early. I don't know how it got covered up by Johnny Lightning and DC Power Collection.
With him, I do.
Michael was already too old to love the Nintendo as much as we did, Sean.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more on the Atari side than Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't talked about Atari. Maybe it'll come next season.
Yeah.
So, all right. What else we have on these guys? I mean, I know there were some masks that were made. Did you talk about the masks, Michael?
No, I didn't say
there were some rubber masks.
And
there were some hand puppets
and the hand
well.
puppets. So which were kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So lots of interesting things that REMCO did with this. But these were pretty cool. I like these. Mm-hmm. So let's jump into a little fun for all here. Fun for all question that I have here. What is your favorite all-time classic Halloween monster? So this is not even just talking about these. This is all-time classic Halloween monster.
I guess mine would be, I guess Dracula. I guess because I mean I was Dracula for 1 year and for Halloween. I know that. I think we've got a picture somewhere of me dressed up with you guys as well. But I'm just saying if you're thinking of a classic Halloween costume, whatever for Halloween, Dracula would be it.
I get that. Dracula would be a good one.
Yeah.
So mine would be the Grim Reaper.
The Grim. That's a pretty good one, John. I like that one.
You can't go wrong with that.
I would almost go with. I mean, it's kind of a play off the Grim Reaper. It's not my favorite all-time classic one, but the Ghostface from Scream movies.
Oh yeah.
Based off of Grim Reaper, just a little more fun with that. I love that character. I think it's great. Mine has got to be the monster of Frankenstein. I just love Frankenstein. The whole story. I've never read the book, but I've seen pretty much all the movies. Just the whole thing, like who is the actual monster? Is it Frankenstein? Is it the monster of Frankenstein? Everybody goes after that. It's a whole depth thing.
Which one's which? Which one's worse?
Yeah. So which one's actually worse? So that's got to be mine. But I think monsters. It's a good time to talk about monsters.
Yep.
It's Halloween time. It's the weather's cooling down. I've been watching scary movies for like the last week. To the point that
I've been trying to do that too. But even like the 31 days of Halloween and stuff, I've been trying to watch those, but nobody else wants to watch them with me.
See, we watched a few, and I've been listening to. There's a podcast I've been listening to. It's gosh, what's the name of it? Let me look it up. They're creepy stories, and my phone's being stupid. Full Body Chills, and it's a really awesome. It's just short, kind of creepy stories, and then I come home to this big house that we're in, and it's creepy, and it creeps me out a little bit. So I got to tell you this funny story. I was sitting here earlier today, working. Nobody else is here. I was listening to a podcast, one of those podcasts. And I have Google Home Minis throughout my house, so I can listen to music basically or do whatever I want wherever I'm at. I heard one of them go off. I don't know why it went off. Nobody said, "Hey Google." It just beeped, just randomly. It was like, did a little thing. I was like, "What the heck?" Kind of creeped me out a little bit. I don't know what's going on. So.
Are they battery or plugged in?
They're plugged in. It wasn't battery at all. They're plugged in. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it thought it heard "Hey Google" or whatever. The one behind me, I thought it was going to go off. But yeah, so I mean, they do go off if we're watching TV. The one in the bedroom, and somebody like one of those commercials, it'll light up like it's listening.
Mine will do it if they hear something on on my truck. Because I got Google when I have my phone plugged in, and it'll go off when it just hears random things from the radio. So it's kind of weird. And you have to say cancel and then have to play again on whatever you're playing.
And it's creepy, isn't it? When they like, I mean, especially if you're not thinking about it, and it's in another room. I guess you're in your truck. It's maybe not as bad. So, but it's definitely when you're in a house by yourself and there's nobody else here, then all of a sudden you hear, I'm trying to put this where it belongs up here. All right, what else you guys get anything new this week? Anything fun going on?
I got something new.
What you got, Michael?
I got some old dirt.
Let me get it out of that glare. I got light.
There you go.
It's another transformer.
Yeah.
What it is? Yeah.
Crowbar.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to read it.
Yeah, he turns into a Chevy Tahoe. This one is from Dark of the Moon. It is a Decepticon. So that's number 3 in the studio series that I'm putting together. So
So you're
I
getting
added
there.
another one.
How many? How many total?
I've got 3, 4, 5. Where's the others? 6, 7, 8. I think I got 8 of them so far.
Okay.
Out of 80 of them they've got. So
Out of 80
Wow,
of them?
out of 80.
Yeah.
Dang.
You got a little while to go there, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, I think
What John get?
John got a cops from last year.
Yeah, this
our
is
episode
Highway
last week.
from
Highway.
last week's episode Cops. So
Yeah.
and then he's got his little air jet, and then the bomb that had the caps that you put in.
So you got everything. That the only thing you were missing were actual caps, right?
Yeah, the only thing I was missing was the caps. So.
Where I wonder if you can find any somewhere.
Yeah, they still make them. So
They're not like a hazard.
You can find them at a dollar store, I bet. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yes,
pretty
that
cool.
makes
I like
sense,
that. Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's got his gun, everything, the scooter, the bomb, so it all, and he's got his baton too. So
Nice.
even that one.
Cool.
Of course, man. That's a pretty good little
Yeah.
piece that you got there. And I think you bought that when we were recording, weren't you? Didn't you?
Yeah, I ordered it like as soon as we finished.
Yeah,
recording.
you were like, I remember you saying like, I got it. You know, so that got to you pretty quick. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got the alert because it came in like 3 days early. So
there you go.
Wow.
I didn't get anything new except for Batman's, and it was all Funko Batman stuff from their Batman day. So
that's all I
yeah,
got.
that was all.
I was like looking, I was like, wait, that's all I got.
I feel like I did get something, but I can't place it.
I mean,
I don't know.
you just opened up that diecast Batman.
Yeah, so the diecast Batman is like right there. I just put it there on my shelf. It's pretty cool. I have to check it out more. It's pretty heavy. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that's my first diecast figure. I get a bunch of diecast cars and not nearly as many as Michael, but a diecast figure. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Next week we're going to talk about some more monsters. But we're going to hit the other side of it. Instead of universal monsters, we're going to talk about international monsters.
Yep.
So, and what toy line was that? What company was that?
Lincoln.
Lincoln. That's right. Lincoln International Monster. So that's we're doing kind of all this whole through Halloween thing. We're talking about monsters.
Kind of a monster month.
Monster month. So
yeah,
lots of good stuff. Some ghosts towards the end. And everything. So gonna have some fun with that. Anything else we want to add to this one, guys? Before we get John's socials again and run through shout outs? All right. We do have some shout outs. So John mentioned earlier our collector showcases. So make sure you check out our social medias and at the same time follow Geek Together, who we partner with for our social for our collector showcases. Like I mentioned, we have one in the works. We're trying to get it scheduled. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about that once we get it scheduled, and we're a little more. We talk about actually who's coming on, so be sure to that. So check out Geek Together, follow their socials, but also they go live on Twitch almost every Saturday, right before the STS guys. So that's what 6:37, or is that our time? Or maybe that's I don't know. Follow their socials. Yeah, follow their. They'll tell you what time they go live. Yeah. So, but that's Saturday nights. Also, check us out over on Across the Streams Media. All of our social links that John's going to go through here in a minute are there. Links to the bingo cards, our merch, anything that you want to find. It's all there. Also, while you're there, leave us a review over on iTunes. You can do it through Across the Streams Media, or you can do it on iTunes. That helps us out. That helps us show up in all the different those rankings and stuff. So please leave us a review. And if you leave us a review, John will send you stickers. John still has all the stickers. So yeah, leave us a review. We'd love to see. And if you also leave us one, we may read it here on the podcast. What was that face for, John?
I thought I passed those on.
I got half of them. I thought you still had.
Okay. I'll have to look.
Yeah, you should still
I only
have half
have
of them.
I don't have any, so.
Michael doesn't have any. I don't know. While you're over on Cross the Streams Media, you can check out some of our partner podcasts that we have over there. Obviously, the Dorksmen, the STS guys, Secondary Heroes, 3 Beers and a Mic, the Movie Gap, the Dan Aykroyd podcast, the Burt Reynolds and Charles Bronson podcast, Front Row Negative, the Art of the Boar, Beering Ain't Easy, and I feel like there was somebody else that added recently, but I don't know. I'll have to check my notes and get them added if they added somebody. But so check out that. That's crossthestreamsmedia.com. CTS Media on Instagram or Twitter, and Cross the Streams Media on Instagram or Twitter. I don't remember which one's which. Maybe I should make a note of that. So yeah,
write it down.
Yeah, just write it down. By the way, speaking of the bingo card, I am going to make a bingo card for every time Michael puts the toy at number 7. seems to be his season 2 thing. So everybody's at 7. So, all right, John, you want to run through those other socials real quick?
Yeah, which ones did you not hit? I mean,
I didn't hit all of them.
Check our website out at toyrewindpodcast.com. Again, you can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube, Toy Rewind Podcast. And the bingo card is at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind. So there you go.
Yep. So be sure you check us out, follow us. That you get all the information we post. I mean, obviously weekly when we do this. I actually have some posts that I've been kind of sitting on because recently we've been starting to find, like John showed that little ad for the monsters. We've been finding Toy Fair and Sears catalogs for the lines that we're doing, and we're going to start posting those a little bit. I need to get them set so they'll start posting. Because those are pretty cool. Just not only just getting to see the toys the way that they were kind of set up for ads, but just trying to remind people that the podcasts are there and how cool these things are. So, anything else you guys want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, this has been an episode of the Toy Rewind podcast. I don't know what number. 58. Episode 58. I had to look it up. Sorry. We talked about those REMCO toy lines. Oh, he's got it on his notes. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's at the
Episode
top of
58.
my notes. It's at the top of my notes too. I just have to scroll to get them. So yeah, REMCO. We got more talk about REMCO coming this season because I know they have a lot of toys that we did not talk about last season. So we are going to talk about them this season on the Toy Rewind.
Do you know how they got their name, REMCO?
I don't. They made a REM and then decided to make a co out of it?
No, it's short for remote control.
Remote control. Yeah. We'll have to go into the history. We'll go into history.
You have to go into the history of REMCO.
Yeah, so
we will.
The next line, we're going to have to go into the history. And at that point, that is when I need the more you know thing come across the screen with that music. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know. Drop us a line on one of our socials. Let us know what you thought. And if there's a toy line you want to hear us talk about, you want to learn some history about, let us know those also, because we're always looking for your suggestions on what you want to hear about. So, all right. You guys good? All right. Awesome. On behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.